Imagine this. She's with another man, maybe happy, maybe not, and you're left wondering how to get back that connection that once seemed unbreakable. I'm not going to lie. There's no magic formula to make someone come back just because you want it. But there is something much more powerful than that. There's a smart strategy that makes her question, makes her hesitate, makes her remember, and most importantly, makes her want to come back to you. And no, it's not about begging, sending desperate messages, or acting like nothing happened. It's something deeper, something that touches the feminine mind at its most vulnerable spot. The first key to making this happen is understanding how her mind works after she's moved on. When a woman decides to be with another man, she's not just looking for a replacement. Emotionally, she's going through an internal conflict. She feels torn between what she experienced with you, the emotions left behind, and what she's living now. That creates an internal tension which, if you know how to handle it, can work in your favor. It's not about competing with that other guy, because you'll always lose that battle. Instead, you have to do something few understand. Become the person who awakens in her that latent desire she can't ignore. And to do that, you don't need to be perfect or have everything figured out. In fact, well-managed imperfection can be one of your greatest weapons. Neil Strauss emphasizes the importance of strategic absence. Sounds contradictory, right? But when you stop being available, when you pull back intelligently and without drama, something inside her switches on. That absence creates space for her to start missing you, to think about what she had and what she's losing. But it's not about disappearing and letting time do all the work. The absence has to be paired with a real change in you, growth she can sense, even from afar. Here's the part most guys miss: visible, personal transformation. I'm not talking about changing just to get her back, but becoming someone genuinely worth it. Someone who radiates confidence, purpose, someone who isn't emotionally dependent on her, someone on the path to a better version of himself. That, without saying a word, shows in your actions, in your social media, in the energy you give off. And that energy doesn't go unnoticed by a woman, especially one who still feels something for you, even if she denies it. Now, how do you make sure that transformation doesn't come off as a tactic? That's the key. It has to be authentic, sincere, and first and foremost, for yourself. Because if she senses you're only changing to win her back, the only thing you'll do is push her further away. Authenticity is your best weapon to spark that internal curiosity that makes her wonder if she's missing out on something important. Meanwhile, during that period of absence and transformation, there's one thing you must avoid at all costs: desperate contact. Constant messages, unanswered calls, attempts to justify what happened, or empty promises will only dig the hole deeper. Instead, focus on building your own value, rebuilding your life on your own terms. That creates a magnetic aura nothing else can match. And here's another powerful strategy Neil Strauss highlights: the law of contrast. When she sees you as different from that other guy, when you have a more interesting life, when you're not waiting around hopelessly, she'll start feeling that itch, that spark she doesn't have with him. You don't have to be better than him. You just have to be different, authentic, and above all, emotionally unavailable. But it's not just about surface-level changes. There's something deeper you need to activate: mystery. Most guys make the mistake of opening up too fast, showing every detail, every emotion. That tires her out and pushes her away. Instead, when you keep some mystery, when you let her want to discover who you really are, you give her a reason to stay hooked, to want to come back and understand what she's losing. That mystery isn't manipulation. It's maintaining your dignity and your space. It's showing you have a life beyond her, that your emotions don't depend solely on her presence, and that emotional independence is the foundation for her seeking you out, for wanting to come back. But what if she's really with someone else? Does that mean all is lost? Not at all. Having another man in the picture can actually be an advantage if you know how to handle it. Because while she's with him, you're building something he can't offer: yourself, in your best version. And over time, when that relationship shows its weaknesses, or when she starts noticing something missing, your transformation will be the turning point. This doesn't happen overnight, and it's not for guys who want instant results. We're talking smart patience here, keeping your focus on yourself and your growth without losing your mind over her. That patience combined with real improvement creates an irresistible attraction. a force that will make her question her choices and eventually come back to you. And while this is happening, it's crucial to understand the power of indirect communication. Not explicit messages of love or desire, but subtle signs that show your progress and spark her curiosity. Photos, statuses, stories that reflect your interesting life, your achievements, your well-being. All of this puts her in a mental state where she wonders what you're doing, how you're changing, what she now risks losing. Now, let's dive deeper into what happens inside her mind when you start applying this strategy without making it obvious. When you begin to pull away and show real transformation without pressure or chasing, her brain triggers a powerful mechanism, unconscious comparison. She starts evaluating not only her current relationship, but everything she had with you, not logically, but emotionally, recalling moments that made her feel alive and unique. What's fascinating is that her mind doesn't just remember what was, but also what could have been. And that gap, between reality and possibility, is something no one else can fill. The distance you create with your absence doesn't just make her miss you, it opens her up to imagining scenarios where you're back in the lead role, where past mistakes don't exist, only the best versions of both of you. That image, though idealized, becomes irresistible because it taps into her deep need for emotional security and authenticity. At the same time, how you communicate that change without saying a single word is crucial. I'm not just talking about social media or appearances. It's your body language, your voice, your energy when you're around others or when someone mentions her. If you show genuine confidence, if your words and actions reflect that you're focused on yourself and your happiness doesn't depend on her, she senses it immediately, even if she can't admit it. There's also a psychological aspect many men don't know. One Neil Strauss highlights the importance of awakening her instinct to be pursued. Yes, even if she's with someone else, that instinct is still alive, waiting to be triggered by someone who won't give up, who won't settle, who carries an aura of challenge and mystery. That attitude is what makes her feel alive because it breaks the monotony of a relationship that's inherently paused or uncertain. But to keep that effect going, you must master the art of strategic silence. Silence is a powerful tool that creates a void, and that void is where questions, doubts, and eventually desire are born. It's not about ignoring her. It's about not flooding her with messages, letting her mind and heart do the work you can't with words. That silence, combined with subtle, well-timed signals, a smile in public, a glance at just the right moment, a casual comment, makes her feel you're present but not available, and that's what confuses and attracts her. It's also crucial to avoid falling into the quick reunion trap. Many men believe that if they get a meeting, whether planned or accidental, they need to explain everything, justify the past, or give long speeches about how they've changed. Nothing could be further from the truth. The first moments must be light, humorous, and mysterious. You have to be a pleasant challenge, not an emotional burden. That makes her want to meet you again because being with you isn't an obligation or a heavy commitment, it's an escape, a spark that revives forgotten emotions. Patience is key again, and here comes another fundamental concept: psychological timing. It doesn't matter how long she's been with someone else or how much time has passed since you separated. What matters is how long you can sustain this strategy without losing focus or falling into desperation. Most men give up before the process has a chance to work. That's why this approach demands not just emotional intelligence, but mental strength. Meanwhile, as you advance in this transformation, start building social circles that reinforce your new identity. I'm not talking about chasing likes or followers, but creating genuine relationships and showing a life full of purpose, friends, projects, and adventures. That feeds the perception that your world is vast, interesting, and above all, doesn't revolve around her. This perception is magnetic because it unconsciously signals that losing you means losing someone valuable, someone no other man can compete with. There's also a hidden dynamic few know about: how your attitude toward her new partner influences her. It's not about confrontation or competition, but about calmly and dignifiedly accepting that she's with someone else, without showing jealousy or insecurity. Genuine acceptance projects inner strength that attracts her more than any display of reproach or sadness. When she sees you emotionally in control, still owning your life, she starts to realize you're different. You're not just any guy. Finally, there's a catalyst for this entire process: the desire to be chosen. Although it sounds contradictory, you can't force her to choose you, but you can create a genuine desire within her to choose you, so that choice comes from freedom, not obligation or guilt. That only happens when you become someone who doesn't need her validation to feel complete, someone with his own worth who will move forward regardless of what happens. One of the most overlooked truths in this entire process is the subtle power of emotional contrast. While she's with another man, her experiences with him are bound to have moments of uncertainty, tension, or unmet needs. Even if the new relationship seems stable, emotional contrast creates an undercurrent of dissatisfaction that she may not even consciously acknowledge. When you maintain your presence as a calm, steady force, not by showing up physically but by the energy and mindset you project, you become that contrasting option that awakens something deeper inside her. It's like you're a silent signal in her subconscious saying, "There's something better, something real, waiting for you." This is why your emotional state during this time is crucial. If you're anxious, needy, or desperate, you become just another source of stress. But if you embody calm, purpose, and a quiet confidence, you become a beacon of stability and potential happiness. She may be with someone else, but her heart and mind start comparing the energy she feels from him to the one she senses from you. And that difference grows more significant by the day. Along with this emotional contrast, another key element comes into play: scarcity. Not scarcity in the sense of playing games, but scarcity in your availability and attention. When you show that you have a full life that doesn't depend on her, you naturally become more desirable. Because people tend to want what they can't easily have. If you're always accessible, always waiting for her, you lose that magnetic pull. But when you make it clear, through your actions and boundaries, that your time and energy are precious, she subconsciously values you more. This ties directly into the importance of your social proof. Social proof is the psychological phenomenon where people look to others' behavior to determine their own. When she sees that you're respected, admired, and have a circle of friends and activities that bring you fulfillment, it triggers an automatic respect and curiosity. She doesn't just want you back because of feelings. She wants to be part of that world she sees you thriving in. Your social proof doesn't just show success. It shows that you're a man who commands value in his environment. A powerful way to enhance this effect is through indirect communication of your progress. Share moments that highlight your growth and happiness, but without directly targeting her or begging for attention. It's subtle, yet effective. Think of it as leaving breadcrumbs for her mind to follow. A photo of you with friends on an adventure, a story about a new project you're passionate about, a glimpse of your physical transformation. These signals say more than words ever could. You're moving forward, you're evolving, and you're not waiting for anyone. At the same time, emotional intelligence plays a vital role here. You have to read the subtle cues she sends, whether it's through social media, mutual friends, or casual interactions. If she's responding to your indirect signals with curiosity or hesitation, that's a green light to keep reinforcing your progress. But if she's cold or indifferent, it's a sign to stay patient and focus even more on your own development. Pushing too hard when she's not receptive only confirms to her that you're emotionally dependent, which breaks the whole strategy. Another layer that often goes unnoticed is the power of shared memories, not as a tool to remind her of the past, but as a way to reconnect on an emotional level when the time is right. When you do get the chance to interact, casually referencing moments that made both of you feel alive and connected can subtly reignite the spark. It's about stirring up emotions without pressure, letting nostalgia work its magic naturally. But timing is everything. Premature references can backfire and make her shut down. The unspoken rule here is that you're not trying to force a reunion. You're creating a fertile emotional environment where a reunion becomes her choice. This requires patience, finesse, and above all, self-respect. If you maintain your boundaries and continue growing, she will start to feel that pull stronger and stronger, often without even realizing it. There's also a physiological aspect worth mentioning, how your presence affects her subconscious. Women are wired to respond not just to words, but to nonverbal cues like scent, tone, posture, and even your energy. When you're confident and grounded, it changes the chemistry between you. Even brief encounters or chance meetings can trigger those deep-seated feelings that make her heart skip a beat. This is why maintaining your physical and mental health during this period is not just about you. It's a strategic move that influences her on a primal level. And then there's the power of unpredictability. While consistency in your growth is key, you want to avoid becoming too predictable. Spontaneous actions, surprises, or unexpected kindnesses can keep her intrigued and off balance in a good way. This doesn't mean grand gestures or over-the-top attempts. Subtle, meaningful moments that show you're present and thinking beyond yourself create a magnetic pull. Now, before you think all of this is just theory or some superficial tricks, let me be clear. What truly transforms a situation like this isn't just strategy or a set of tactics. It's your own evolution as a man. When you become someone who doesn't emotionally depend on anyone, who has his own purpose and value, you automatically become irresistible, even to someone who thought she was already with someone else. It's in that authenticity, in that silent strength, where the real power lies to make her miss you, to feel that void only you can fill, and eventually, without even realizing it, to come back to you. Not because you manipulated her, but because the inspiration you generate makes her want to be by your side. No conditions, no pressure. So here's the invitation for you. If you're going through this or know someone who is, don't settle for pain or uncertainty. Start working on yourself, on your personal and emotional growth, and you'll see everything change. And if you want more real advice, deep strategies, and content that helps you master this and other situations, I invite you to comment below with your biggest challenge in love. Share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. This channel is for men who want more, who won't settle for less, who want to become the best version of themselves to attract not just a woman, but a full and authentic life. Here, I give you the tools, the keys, and the motivation to make it happen. You're not alone on this journey, and together, we'll go further. Let me know in the comments which part of this strategy surprised you the most or what you'd like me to dive deeper into in future videos. Your participation doesn't just help me create content you really need, it also helps other men fighting the same battle. Remember, the power is in you. Make her see it.